Welcome, Survivor, to my little channel. I hope you'll be a part of growing it by subscribing immediately. But today, we will be looking at Alpha 17. And we're going to be looking at something quite important, meaning the zombie AI, and specifically pathfinding. A lot has been talked about changes to the zombie AI and its improved pathfinding. Yay! As we all know, Alpha 16 was pretty terrible there. So while I can't cover everything, I've run across a number of things that range from interesting to peculiar to very useful and perhaps a little bit buggy. So I will be going through first a small maze of solid blocks. I'll go through a larger one which has poles. Then we'll be looking at 50 pillars. We'll be looking at half blocks. We'll be doing some jump testing, and jump testing way over there. So first I thought this is going to be a 5-minute video. It's going to be very, very short. But actually I think it's going to be pretty long. But it has a lot of the testing, so do stay to the end and let me know afterwards what you thought. So first, let's look at the small maze. So I got some stainless steel here. Can I punch this? Yes. And I have bulletproof glass so we can see. So with this one, we would have expected them to, if I put something here, let's do that here. Zombie, let's do Joe. You would have expected he's gonna walk his way out. And he seems to be doing exactly that actually. He's slowly coming here, which is as expected. He should be able to pathfind here. In Alpha 16, that didn't quite happen. So, yep, he comes here, and unfortunately, we have to take care of him. So, let's see here. If you let's put a block here, and let's put a steel block here, so it's fully blocked off. Now, what do you think he's going to be doing? Let's spawn in another one. See, he comes here, and then he's walking, and he's walking, and he's walking, and then he decides, here's a good spot to be bashing. Probably because that one was a little bit more damaged than everything else, so it's like, yep, no, that's a good place. Interesting. But what if we remove this one? And now this one, obviously, it's just got one block. Will he pathfind over here? So let's do a feral one a little bit faster. And yes, he actually does pathfind over here. He realizes that, hey, this is better. And oh, it went going. So what if I put a vault hatch? How does that affect it? Let's spawn in another feral. Yep, he comes here. He thinks the door is more attractive than just bashing the bulletproof glass, which is interesting because it has a lot more hit points than the bulletproof glass. So it is more attractive. Right. Quite. So let's see. Let's remove this one again. So what if we have, let's say, a ladder? Will he climb up the ladder? So we'll put this one here. So now, if I spawn him here, is he going to go up here and walk out here in order to get me? No, he doesn't do that. He takes the long way around. That's peculiar, right? But what if I block off? Oh, let's do that. What about it now? Will he climb up? Oh, yeah. He decides this is definitely better. But let's see. Let's remove this one again, like we did last time. Now, is this still more attractive than bashing through one? No. He decides, nah, who cares? I'm going to bash this one. Look at this. So this one, well, it's a little bit of a peculiar way of doing it. But fine. Let's do another test then. So what if I put a hatch here? What does it do? Let's open it for the fun of it. Now this one is closed off. We're at a feral here. Well, he tries to climb up. Oh, of course, you're looking and say, well, he can't come up because this one being in the way. All right. Go away. Let's change it a little bit then. Let's turn it. So now you should be able to come up, right? So let's do this. Oh. And let's go in here and let's do... so now he can climb up, right? Yes. Now he can climb up. Good, good. So he can climb up if there are a certain way, which is sort of the way the player does. But what if it's closed? How does he react? Well, he doesn't react very much at all. Did I take the wrong one? Let me... Oh, I got some loot. Okay, let's do this one. So with the closed one, he still decides to, no, this is a better place. Who cares about this one? And this one makes for a little bit of a funny play. I open it. And he comes running. I close it. And then he goes back. And then I open it. And then I close it. So you can play around with them a little bit here. So it does look like, well, what have we learned really here? Well, they like to run for openings. If it's open, they will definitely run for it. Now, even if it's not open, they will target probably what they see as the easiest place to bash through. So if there's something easy to bash through here, which is obviously better than bashing through here, even though actually, fundamentally, it's the same. If he bashes this one, it's exactly the same as bashing this one because he could jump up. But he prefers this one because there's no block here. He probably looks at this as potential that there could be a block on the third one, which means he would have to take out both of them. So slightly differently. They can climb ladders, but only if there's no opening. If the ladder is nearer, like in this case, they still won't take it if there is an opening here. So it's a little bit weird. And as you can see, the hatches they can climb through, if it's oriented the right way. If it's oriented the opposite way, they won't climb through. They get stuck. So that may be something to take advantage of when you're doing your building. So wasn't that interesting? Now, let's look at the larger maze. So I'm going to take out, well, let's leave that one for now. So what I've done here is I got a slightly larger one that has to follow all the way through here. So we would expect, so let's open this one up. Right. You would expect that if I drop him here, he should be going all the way around, right? And no. He decides he doesn't want to go all the way through at all. So why is that? Is that because we got a door? All right, fine. Let's assume that. Let's put another feral here. All right. He doesn't go around. And then you might be thinking that, well, okay, maybe the pathfinding is too many boxes too far away. Right, we can test that out as well. Notice opening here. So let's do this. Let's spawn in a feral here. Hello. Wait. What's going on? There's an opening here. In Alpha 16, they would definitely be coming here. This one, no. He doesn't. Look at him. He's still trying to beat his way through here, even though this one is, you see, right? He doesn't care. He's like, no, I'm going to go to the closest way, even if there's something in the way. Now, isn't that interesting? So I think that's really weird. What I think is happening is that the poles are seen as, well, actually, they're not seen at all. I think the zombie is trying to walk through it. He gets stopped, and then he decides, well, I'm just going to bash whatever is there because something is blocking me. So even with this opening just a few away, like I could drag him all the way here, and he still comes back because he's like, no, this is easier. This is faster than going around. He still comes here. So this is really, really peculiar. So what did we learn from this? Poles are invisible. It's an invisible wall. If closed off, it works similar to Alpha 16, right? Because let's see in Alpha 16, if all this is closed off and they're coming here, they'll just try to bash through. Now, it does have the, well, added benefit is that, let's say zombies come here and they're bashing all of these ones. And the guy here takes out this one. Now, in Alpha 16, you would expect all the zombies to path through here. But in Alpha 17, it looks like he probably is just going to have one going to go through. The rest are going to continue beating because, well, let's try that out. So if I do, and let me pause my AI here for just a moment. So let's do that. Copy rotation. Bam. Okay. So let me spawn in Joe here. Let me do that here too. Joe. To simulate exactly that happening. Oh yeah, here we have another Joe. And then we have another Joe. Okay. So they're all here. So let's turn on the AI. So I'm going to take out this one. You see? This one goes like, yeah, I can get to you. These ones go, no. I need to get through. And while this makes it pretty good for standing behind and just bashing them, that's a little bit wonky. I mean, that's not how it should be. So, that's something to look at. Maybe they'll fix it, maybe they won't. I think they should be. They have to look at them not being invisible walls. I mean, that just doesn't make sense. They should all be coming through where they should see it as a solid block, a solid obstruction. So I don't think it's intended, but you know, it's how it's working right now. And now we're going to go over at the 50 pillars. So in Alpha 15, and to some degree in Alpha 16, they were great. They were pretty good cover and they kept the zombies out. Now let's see, let me spawn in a few different ones here. Let's get the farmer, let's get Darlene, let's get Joe. Let me see, let me get a biker maybe. And let's get Mo, because he's nice and big. So what would you expect here? Well, you would expect them to just bash things. And wait, what's this? What is this? Jumping, walking through? Why are these ones walking straight through? And why are these not walking through? I mean, what's going on? And now he is. Didn't that look kind of odd? So what's happening there? Let's do it again. Let's take the Hawaiian one because he's a really big one. Let's do this. So he's a big one. Let's see what he does. And he's noisy as well. And look at him. He gets through. And here's another one go through. And a third one. Now what's going on? What is this? Can zombies walk through here? I would say it's kind of peculiar. So what I think is happening is that 50 pillars, they do block movement and it's intended that way. However, during the melee combat, and you'll see here, they sort of glitch. And something happens with the boxes and you see, right, they basically squeeze through even though it's glitching. And I don't think that's intended. I first thought that maybe it's just like the small zombies like Darlene and Arlene, but no, this happens to all of them. So even the Hawaiian will get through. So I hope they'll fix it. What I think they could be doing if they spent the time is that they could separate the zombies where some zombies like Arlene and maybe the cheerleader, etc. are different walking hitboxes than, or movement boxes than, for instance, Mo or Hawaiian or the cop, because the models are different. And for instance, they could say, well, the smaller ones can fit through here, but the bigger ones can't. That would be pretty cool because it means that you could actually do something with that, whether it's through sorting the zombies or having defenses that work differently depending on what zombies there are. And it would make sense as well. I mean, they aren't exactly the same size. In this case, I think they just glitched out. I think the melee changes something with the movement box and they glitch through. And I think that needs to be fixed because, you know, that shouldn't be happening. So I thought, well, I saw that happening here. What about this? I mean, the gap is smaller. Can they glitch through here as well? So let's put a few down here. And let's see. See they here. And yep, you see, it's harder They're having a lot more trouble doing that, but they can. If they sort of... Let's get... Oh. I guess I got rid of both of them. If they're close enough, it looks like they actually can. Wow, they really did a number of this one. Whoa! That's a lot of damage. So they really can squeeze through even here. And I think it's the same bug as here. And yeah, they really need to address that. Now, next one. Let's look at jumping. So what have I done here? Well, I made a small little corridor here. I made a... Let me not fall down. I made a fairly deep hole here. Pretty easy with the admin digger. And, well, it's just one. So they should be able to jump across, right? So let's test that out. Let me spawn in Joe. And by Joe, I mean Joe, not Joel. Now he's not jumping. Why is he not jumping? Hello? Can I... Come here. Well, you're not dead, I know. Don't pretend. Yeah, come up here. Right. Can you jump here? No. He prefers bashing. Let me open the hatch. Is he going to recognize this as a valid... Yeah, he does. Let me close it and... Well, he falls down. So what's happening? Is it because he's normal? What if I do a feral one? No. He doesn't like to jump. So obviously they should be able to jump one, but they decide that I would rather bash through the wall than even to jump a small gap. Really weird. So what did we learn here? Well, they don't like to jump. They like to bash things. It would have been really fast for him to just jump across. But no, he avoids it like the plague. At least if he can find another path. And that path is obviously through these blocks. So that's really interesting. So let's try hit this one. So what I've done here, I have a small platform and there's a one gap here, as you can see. So is the same going to happen, that they avoid jumping? Let's check that out. Let's try with Mr. Oh, he decided he didn't want to jump. What about this one? Nope. What about the feral? And what about Joe? Well, see, they're not jumping at all. So does that mean they can't jump? Good question. Well, obviously they can. Let's try that again. Hello, Joe. Who says white men can't jump? So here he jumps. And he jumps like every time. Let's try this the third time. Okay, there he didn't. So it looks like certain angles, yeah, like here. Okay, you're gone. Certain angles, they seem to jump a lot more. I have seen him jump here, but most of the time he doesn't. When it's slightly diagonal, he does more. Are you guys digging down there? Stop it. You're making a mess. This is my testing video. Please, please, quiet, quiet, quiet. So with one gap, sometimes they jump, sometimes they don't. And it seems to be dependent a little bit on the angle, which is really weird. But that's fine, fine. So they can do one jump. They can. So here's two. As you can see, there's a two gap here. So let's put on a couple of zombies here. All right, they don't seem to jump. Let's take a few more. Oh, he beat his friend. No. Well, he jumped, but he jumped down. So they sometimes jump, but they jump down. Let's try this again. So it doesn't look like they can actually jump 2 blocks. Oh, there he could. Maybe barely. Well, he fell down a little bit because of this one. The angle is, as you can see, it slopes down a little bit. I don't think they can jump 2 full blocks. They can jump slightly less. So sometimes they, because it's sloping a little bit, they might be able to get on the lip here. But what if I put a hatch here? Does that make him jump? And no. Okay, let's try this again then. Does he jump? It doesn't like to jump. So when it's straight like this, they really seem like they don't like to jump for some reason. Let's see if he's going to jump here. No. So I have actually, when I was doing this testing before, I did see the occasional one trying to jump over here. Yeah, like this one. But it's a lot more inconsistent. Okay. Okay. Leave them there. So what have we learned there? Well, it seems to not be consistent even one bit. Sometimes they jump, sometimes they don't, and even when they jump, it's sort of like more likely when it's like at an angle. And yeah, that's really, really weird. So too wide, they will not jump or will not jump across, and usually they just fall down. One wide, sometimes they will. So that's something we can take advantage of when we're doing building, unless they change it. Because obviously, the player can jump too wide. Of course, if you fall down, that's certain death. So I don't see why the running ones shouldn't be able to jump too. I think they should fix such that if they're walking, they'll do a one wide jump. If they're running, they'll do two. I think that would make more sense. Now, there is one kind of jumping that I am aware of, and it actually is quite a funny one. And it's one where, and let me see if I can do that one here. It's when they jump on each other. And that happens, and I'm going to spawn 25 of them. You'll see that here, hopefully. It's when they're bunched up together. Let's see if I can do that here. See if they start jumping. Yeah, you see? They jump on top of each other. And that looks really, really funny. So for some reason, in these cases, as a horde, I don't know if that's intended. They can actually jump on each other's head. And I've seen them do that 3 high. But it only happens when they're bunched up. So if you're having like a corridor, like a group of them, they can definitely do that. So let me get over here. So like you saw, right? They can jump up and get across. So that's something we have to be aware of when it's a cramped corridor. If there's a lot of zombies and they sort of push into each other, they will jump and step on each other and get over. And even if you have a wall that is 3 or maybe 4, I think that they will be able to do that if they are so inclined. So we'll leave it at that. Seeing the frogs jump over is pretty fun. So wasn't that nice? So please go subscribe, like, and tell me what other zombie AI you want me to test and showcase. Have a great day.
Special thanks to the great patrons supporting the channel. If you would like to join the vetted community and support these videos, do follow the Patreon link.